There is a day that changes everything. Not the day you get promoted, not the day someone apologizes, not the day people finally understand you. It's the day you stop expecting anyone to, the day you stop expecting them to call, to support you, to notice your effort, to validate your worth. That's the day your power comes back, because expectations feel innocent, but they quietly control your mood, your confidence, and your peace. And the moment you release them, you stop being emotionally owned by other people. Let's talk about what really happens when you stop expecting anyone, and why your life will never feel the same again. 1. Expectations are invisible contracts. Every expectation is a silent contract. I showed up for you, so you should show up for me. I texted first last time, so you should text first now. I worked hard, so they should appreciate it. But here's the truth. They never signed that contract. You did. Psychology calls this the covert contract. You expect something in return without ever clearly communicating it. And when people don't meet it, you feel disappointed, disrespected, ignored. But they didn't break a promise. They just didn't live inside your mind. Real life example. You help a coworker finish a project late at night. You assume next time you need help, they'll step up. They don't. Now you feel resentment, but the agreement was never spoken. The pain didn't come from them. It came from the expectation. When you stop expecting, you stop creating invisible contracts, and your emotional stability increases overnight. 2. Emotional control begins with ownership. Most people believe emotional control means suppressing feelings. It doesn't. Emotional control means understanding where your feelings come from. If your happiness depends on how someone treats you today, you've given them emotional authority. When you expect someone to respond a certain way, you attach your mood to their behavior. That's dependency. Let's say you post something online. You expect certain friends to like it. They don't. Now your confidence drops. Why? Because your expectation handed them control. But imagine this. You post it because you wanted to. You like it. You're proud of it. Whether anyone reacts or not, your state doesn't change. That's emotional independence. When you stop expecting external validation, your nervous system relaxes. You stop scanning for approval. You stop overanalyzing silence. You feel lighter, calmer, stronger. 3. Silence becomes powerful. When you expect nothing, you explain less. Think about arguments. Most arguments don't happen because of facts. They happen because of expectations. I thought you would understand. I expected more from you. You should know better. The moment you remove expectation, something interesting happens. You stop trying to force understanding. You speak once, clearly, calmly. And if they don't get it, you don't chase. You don't over-explain. You don't beg to be heard. Silence replaces pressure. And silence is powerful. Because silence says, I am not dependent on your agreement to feel secure. In social psychology, this is linked to high-status behavior. High-status individuals don't over-justify themselves. They state, they observe, they move on. When you stop expecting people to validate your perspective, your communication becomes cleaner, shorter, stronger. 4. Confidence stops begging. Confidence isn't loud, it's stable. When you expect attention, you chase it. When you expect appreciation, you hint at it. When you expect loyalty, you test it. But when you expect nothing, you simply observe. If someone calls, you answer. If they don't, your day continues. If they support you, great. If they don't, you adjust. There is no emotional negotiation happening inside you. Real life example, you plan a birthday dinner. You expect certain friends to show up. 2 cancel last minute. Old version of you feels hurt, rejected. New version, you enjoy the people who came. You mentally note who prioritizes you, and you adjust future energy accordingly. No drama, no speeches, just quiet calibration. That is social power. 5. The end of disappointment. Disappointment is the gap between expectation and reality. Reduce the expectation. The gap disappears. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become realistic. People act according to their priorities, not your hopes. Once you understand that, you stop personalizing behavior. If someone takes hours to respond, it's not necessarily disrespect. It might be disinterest, or distraction, or their personality. Instead of reacting emotionally, you gather information. And information is power. You stop saying, "Why would they do this to me?" You start saying, "This is who they are." That shift changes your life because now you're operating in reality, not fantasy. 6. You stop trying to be chosen. Many expectations come from one hidden desire to be chosen, chosen by friends, chosen by partners, chosen by bosses. When you expect people to choose you, you subtly perform. You become slightly less honest, slightly more agreeable, slightly more anxious. But the day you stop expecting anyone to choose you choose yourself. You say what you actually think. You decline what drains you. You pursue what excites you. Ironically, this makes you more attractive because authenticity feels solid. People trust solid energy. They feel safe around it, and safety creates influence. 7. Relationships become cleaner. When you stop expecting, you stop testing. You don't send dry texts to see if they care. You don't withdraw affection to see if they chase. You operate directly. If you want something, you communicate it calmly. If it's not reciprocated, you decide what to do next. No games, no mind reading. Psychologically, this removes what's called anxious attachment behavior. You're no longer hyper-focused on signals. You're grounded. And grounded people attract healthier dynamics because they don't create emotional chaos. They create clarity. 8. Social power increases. Quietly, power isn't controlling others. It's controlling yourself. When you expect nothing, you cannot be manipulated through withdrawal. Someone ignores you to provoke a reaction. You don't react. Someone withholds praise to make you try harder. You don't overcompensate. Someone attempts to guilt you. You evaluate logically. Without expectation, there is no hook. And when there is no hook, there is no leverage. This is why emotionally independent people seem mysterious. You can't predict their reactions easily because they are not reacting from need. They are responding from choice. Choice is power. 9. Productivity skyrockets. Think about how much energy expectations consume. Waiting for replies, replaying conversations, imagining outcomes. When you stop expecting, you free mental bandwidth. You work for your standards, not applause. You improve because growth matters to you, not because someone is watching. This creates internal motivation, and internal motivation is stronger than external pressure. You become disciplined, focused, calm under pressure, because your drive is no longer tied to approval, it's tied to identity. I am the type of person who shows up. That's it. No audience required. 10. You become hard to hurt. The truth is simple. Most emotional pain comes from unmet expectations. You expected loyalty. You expected gratitude. You expected effort. When you release the expectation, you reduce vulnerability to unnecessary pain. You still care, but you don't cling. You still love, but you don't demand. You still give, but you don't assume return. And here's the paradox. When you expect nothing, you often receive more, because your energy feels abundant, not needy. People sense when you don't require them, and that freedom makes them more willing to invest. But even if they don't, you're steady, unshaken, at peace. The day you stop expecting anyone, you stop waiting, you stop chasing, you stop negotiating your worth. You wake up and realize something quiet but powerful. No one owes you understanding. No one owes you loyalty. No one owes you applause. And you owe no one your peace. From that day forward, your happiness becomes self-contained. Your silence becomes deliberate. Your confidence becomes natural. Your social power becomes effortless. You still care about people, but you are no longer emotionally dependent on them. And that changes everything. Because freedom is not when everyone treats you perfectly. Freedom is when their behavior no longer controls your state. That's the shift. That's the day your life changes forever. If this message resonated with you, sit with it. Observe where expectations still control your mood. Release them slowly, and notice how much lighter you feel. If you're ready to build quiet confidence and emotional strength like this, subscribe. We're not here to chase attention. We're here to build power from the inside.